Hello. What's in a name, you might ask? That which we call a lighthouse by any other name would shine us bright. Well, Shakespeare might give you an approving nod from his place in repose for your smart reworking of his immortal line, but sorry, that which we call a lighthouse we may not call by any other name. For not only is the name picturesque yet simple, but also no other name could be more accurate. The word lighthouse came into being in the English language in the 1620s. The lighthouse is a solitary tower often built on a rocky outcrop near the harbour or on the coast or on an island far out at sea. It stands sentinel, watching over ships and warning them off and guiding them through hazards such as storms, fog, shoals, rocks and sandbars, which could run a ship aground and leave it at the mercy of merciless waves which could beat against the ship till it foundered. A lighthouse provides guidance and warning through its imposing height, its prominent perch, its day mark, and its lamp, without which a lighthouse would be anything but that. Seafarers had always known the importance of guidance for their ships across the treacherous bars and safely onto the harbour. In the early days of seafaring, sailors relied on signal fires made from burning wood or coal on hills. But the fog was a problem, as they could be so thick as to render light from the signal fires ineffectual. Also, signal fires required constant stoking, and anyone who has read Sir William Golding's classic, The Lord of the Flies, knows the terrible cost of letting the fire on the mountain go out. Also, making fires on hills was far from enough. Then came the pharaohs of Alexandria in Egypt, the world's first lighthouse, a limestone and granite tower constructed in the 3rd century BC, probably by the Greek architect Sostratus, for both the elder and younger Ptolemies, pharaohs of Egypt after the death of Alexander the Great. The pharaohs took 12 years to be finished, and standing at about 100 meters tall, was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Unfortunately, a series of earthquakes between 956 BC and the early 14th century AD reduced the lighthouse to ruins, some of which were not discovered until 1968 by a UNESCO-sponsored team of underwater archaeologists. The oldest extant lighthouse is Le Phare de Cordouan in Gironde, France. People have described it as the Versailles of the sea or the Versailles of lighthouses. The construction of towers did solve the problem of height, but back to the problem of lighting. Fires would not do, so along came tallow candles and then oil lamps, particularly the argon lamp, a late 18th century invention by François-Pierre Amédée Argon. Nowadays, lighthouses are fitted with halogen lamps. It was not enough to have light. The rays must be focused into beams. Reflectors helped achieve that purpose, but only to a degree, as some of the light rays still escaped the reflectors and scattered in all directions, and so properly focused long-range light remained a necessity. The most useful invention that gave new life to the idea of lighthouses was the Fresnel lens, invented by the French engineer Augustin Jean Fresnel in 1819. The Fresnel lens comprises concentric ridges of convex prisms which refract rays of light into a focused beam that a sailor can see from as far as at least 30 kilometers. The lighthouse is so enchanting to the human mind that it has passed into symbolism. It has become a metaphor for constancy in the midst of chaos. It has long been a symbol popular among people of the Christian and Jewish faiths because of the symbolic nature of light in both faiths. Because of its sturdiness, the lighthouse is a symbol of strength and resilience, and its rows make it a symbol of protection and calm. The solitude of a lighthouse is a storied characteristic. Some people even believe lighthouses are haunted and that the solitude drove lighthouse keepers of the past mad. But of course, it was not necessarily the solitude that brought about the insanity, but that is the subject of another video. The lighthouse has long been and remains a subject of artistic interest. The British novelist Virginia Woolf wrote the novel To the Lighthouse as far back as 1927. The musicians Tunde Baiwu and Paul Tucker banded together under the name Lighthouse Family in 1993 and gave the world such hits as Ocean Drive, High, Life's a Dream, and Lifted. And as recently as 2019, the American filmmaker Robert Eggers directed and produced the film The Lighthouse. The lighthouse is also a subject of scientific study. An entire field of study is devoted to lighthouses, termed pharology, and lighthouse buffs are called pharologists. From the Cordouen Lighthouse in Gironde, France, to the St. Augustine Lighthouse in Florida, the United States, to the Yokohama Marine Tower in Yokohama, Japan, lighthouses are still in use today. Long-range navigation and the global positioning system are more relevant in modern navigation than lighthouses, a number of which have also fallen into a state of disrepair. Nonetheless, radio and satellite signals may suffer disruptions at times, and GPS devices may sometimes suffer malfunction, or the batteries may go flat, and then we will all have to look to the lighthouse. Thank you for watching, and now it's bye from me, and back to you. As you like this video, leave a comment and subscribe for more. So long.